Hello and welcome to the rubber rectangle. Today we are going to be looking at Chandra Namaskar or moon salute. Slightly different, it's a little bit lower, grounded and connected than our very upward yang Sun Salutations A and B. Chandra Namaskar or moon salute is perfect when you want to still move through a practice but you don't really have that huge burst of energy that you want to get rid of. So it builds the heat and the tapas a little more slowly. Also, it opens up into the lateral plane. So we're going to be facing a different direction and using much more of the long side, well, in fact, all of the long side of the mat, instead of just moving forward and backward as we do in our Sun Salutations A and B. So let's have a quick look at what Chandra Namaskar or moon salute looks like. Then we're going to break it down a little bit and move through each of those shapes. So you'll already notice when we start our Chandra Namaskar, we start at the top of the mat, but facing the long edge, Sun Salutation A and B, we're very much facing the top short edge of the mat. And it's not often enough, I think, that we come across Chandra Namaskar or moon salute in our practice. It looks like this. We're going to inhale, arms up and over the head, take a little bend, left, back to center, and right, and we can slow this down in a moment. Coming into goddess squat, so taking a brief pause here, even maybe closing down the eyes. Inhale, lift and lengthen. We're coming into triangle pose, reaching as far forward as we can, planting the hand onto the mat, gazing up towards that top left hand. We're going to reach both hands down to the mat, an adjustment of the foot behind and come into pyramid pose, lengthen through the back body and release the body down over the top of the leg. From here, a little bit of a transfer of the weight. We step back a little bit and come into our Anjanae Asana, gazing up towards the hands. Coming to heart center, we move back to that lateral plane as we find our Skandasana and open up into the hips, switching over to the other side and then turning back. And we're going to reverse out of these actions, dropping back into Anjanae Asana as we inhale, pressing the hands, palms together. Bring the hands back through heart center, plant the hands, lifting up. Shift the body weight forward, come into pyramid. We find some length through the back body, and as we exhale, drop the head in towards the shin. Left hand comes in front of that left foot. Turn the right foot out, lift in to triangle. On the other side, ground both feet into the mat, lifting up, coming all the way back in to our goddess squat, finding a little peace here, stillness, some grounded connection, turning both feet towards the side. Inhale, up and over. We're going to bend to the right for our Ardha Chandrasana, back through center. Inhale, exhale, bend to the left. Come back to the center and bring the hands to heart center. And we actually repeat that entire sequence, moving to the left, and we make our way back up to the other end of the mat. So, as you can see, Ardha Chandrasana is quite different to Sun Salutation A and B. While we don't feel like there's that really super fast up and yang aspect to this practice, we certainly stay a little bit more grounded and connected to the earth. And there's a chance here to slow this practice down so you can have slightly longer holds in each of the shapes that you make, which as you move with the breath, that inhale, exhale breath, and even using the inhale through the nose, exhale slightly elongated or longer through the mouth, is going to allow you to come into that parasympathetic state. So it roughly takes about 90 seconds, around 6 to 8 breath cycles to come into our parasympathetic state. So let go of that fight or flight response and find a little bit of steadiness and ease, that stila sukhanasana that we are all seeking through our our practice. So let's break down each step as we move through Chandra Namaskar. And if you're referring into your workbooks, there's actually a little diagram there that moves you through this practice. And I will show you where you can add in some extra bits into this flow if you would like to hold some of these segments and turn it into a deeper stretching experience. The Chandra Namaskar has a really beautiful opportunity for you to stay a little longer in some of these holds, maybe take 5 or 6 slow inhale, exhale breaths in each of the different shapes that we make as we move through, which allows you an opportunity to find some other shapes or consider what else it is that your body's asking for on any particular day. So let's step to the top of the mat, and look, I'm not a massive advocate for feet together. I think as women, which a majority of women will be watching or participating, not to discount the gentlemen or the men folk that come and watch the training program or participate too, but separating the feet to roughly about hip width apart just gives you a little bit more grounded stability in the hips for some of these shapes. So when you press the feet into the floor and you keep the feet at hips distance, as you're pressing in here, you're able to lean a little bit deeper into that shape without losing your balance or having to move really deeply to find your counterbalance or lean into the knife edge of either foot. So that was a little long-winded, but feel free to separate your feet is the general gist of this conversation. As you ground down and press into the floor, feel like you're wanting to separate the feet on the earth. So it's almost like you want to push out, like you were doing a snow plow if you were skiing, if that's relevant to anyone. We're going to take an inhale breath so you can really feel the elongation through the body. Exhale through the mouth. And you can close down the eyes and just take a few breaths here, just feeling the grounded connection to the earth. Maybe even roll the shoulders, drop them down the back. You can feel a breath moving through the body, and you'll know when it's time, when you're ready to lift your arms up and over your head with the inhale. Press the hands palms together as you exhale. Inhale, lift up again. We're going to bend over to the left. Inhale up. Take it over to the right as you exhale. Inhale back through the center. Bring the hands to heart center, and you can take a little gaze over the left shoulder because you're going to lift that left foot and step the legs out wide, turn the toes out, bend into the knees and come into goddess squat. Now, primary concerns for our goddess squat are shoulders stacked over the hips, knees turned out and tracking over the middle toe. So this is where we start to work on some of that external hip rotation. Bring the hands to the heart center, and you can take a few little bounces here so that you feel like you're opening up into the hips. And when you find your edge, you can stay here, close down the eyes, and take an inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Sink a little lower. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. One more breath, inhale, exhale, straighten through the legs as you come back on that inhale breath. Turn the left foot to the short edge of the mat. As you inhale, start to reach that front right hand as far forward past the hips as you possibly can, past the toe, maybe to the end of the mat, and you can plant the hand down onto the ground or even onto the shin here as a modification, and use the hand as a lever to lift and lengthen through the body as you reach that top arm all the way up to the sky, eventually lifting your gaze as well. On an exhale breath, release both hands down to the mat, and you're welcome to make any adjustments with blocks here. Shift the body weight forward and change the positioning of the feet slightly. So the back foot is turned out to roughly about 45 degrees and the front foot facing forward, but you want the concept of the feet still being about hip width apart. Inhale through the back body, find a little bit of length here, maybe wiggle into the hips a little. Exhale, drop the body down towards the leg and take a few inhale, exhale breaths here, breathing into the back body, engaging the core and dropping down. Again, blocks can be super helpful here, or if you've got long arms like me, we're already there. Take a little bit of the weight into the front foot, lift that foot back, step back as far as you can. You're in high lunge. You're going to drop that back knee down, and we're going to keep the curl in the back toe, so the toes are turned under. As you inhale the breath, reach the arms up and overhead. So this is your Anjanae Asana. Now, the modification that I would use here is hands onto the front of the quadricep. So if you come out of your high lunge, drop the knee down, and then just work one hand to the quad and the other hand. And that way you can find your balance in this shape. Make sure your shoulders are stacked over your hips, and you can drop in and feel that stretch through that left hip flexor. If you want to work a little deeper here, release the arms, inhale, up and over, take a gaze towards the thumbs, and you will deepen that stretch by virtue of the longer lever. Exhale, hands come in front of the front right foot, tuck the toe under, plant the toes, lift up, turn the body side on, and we're down in Skandasana. Now, I have this heel lifted under here, and this might well be the case as you move in to this shape, finding a little bit of hip mobility and flexibility, but also working into ankle mobility. So eventually you will come down in this shape and you will be able to find your balance here and work side to side. But until that happens, you know, working here and working at your level, wherever you're at in your practice, is super important. So don't put pressure on yourself to feel like that heel needs to be down to the ground. We're going to shift the body weight in Skandasana. So by shifting the body weight, I'm going to use the hands and I'm going to stay as low as I can so I get a little bit more opening through the hamstrings and the hips, working into that mobility in that space. So Skandasana over to the left. We're coming into Anjanae Asana. So we find our high lunge first. Toes stay curled. Drop the back knee down. One hand to the thigh, next to the thigh. Inhale, breath. Exhale, surrender. You can take 3 or 4 breaths here. If you'd like a little add-on, you can release the arms. Take an inhale breath. Reach the arms high, gazing past the fingertips. As you exhale, drop in and surrender into this stretch, Anjanae Asana. Bring the hands through heart center, plant the hands. Use a little bit of forward momentum to bring your back foot into pyramid. Again, I've got about hips distance between the feet, and this back right foot is turned out to roughly 45 degrees. Plant the hands, inhale, lengthen through the back body. Exhale, drop the body down towards the thigh. Again, blocks here, support the body, whatever it takes. And the goal is to find a little length through the back body and hinge at the hips as you bring the body down towards the leg, finding length in the hamstring. Left hand in front of the left foot or on the left shin. Press both feet into the mat, adjust the back foot. Inhale and lift back up into triangle pose. So we're really using the lever here, lengthening and reaching that arm up towards the sky. We're going to take another 2 breaths. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, lengthen. Exhale through the mouth, deepen the twist. Ground both feet into the earth and bring the arms up to shoulder height. Turn both feet towards the long side of the mat. Arms up and over the head, and exhale as you come into your goddess squat. Maybe a little bit of bounce, maybe holding this shape and moving through some breath. We're going to turn both feet back to the long side of the mat. Inhale, arms up and over the head. And you can separate the feet here again to hips width. Exhale over to the right. Inhale back through center. Exhale over to the left. Inhale back through center. Hands to heart center. Close down the eyes if that feels good. And just recalibrate as we worked through one side. We're going to work through the other side and find ourselves back at the top of the mat. So if you're ready to join me on this side, let's release the arms down by the side body. Feel that separation of the feet pressing into the mat. Take an inhale breath, reach up and over the head, hands, palms, press. Inhale, exhale, over to the right. Ardha Chandrasana, sorry. We're pressing this left hip as far as we can out to the left side and feeling length coming into the right side of the body. Inhale, up, back through center. Exhale, over to the left. Again, pressing in the opposite direction, right hip going to the long end of the mat. Inhale, back through the center. Take a deep breath as you step out. Exhale and sink right down into your goddess squat, taking a few lovely, long, deep inhale and exhale breaths. Up we come into our triangle pose. Turn that back foot to the end of the mat. Reach the left hand as far as you can past that foot using the shin. Here I'll demonstrate the hand into the mat. Just a little bit of a deeper experience, but it's really up to you as to where you're at in your practice, as to where you take your triangle pose. Again, there are so many variations. Exhale and release the hands down to the mat. Adjust your feet and come into pyramid pose. Inhale, lengthen through the back body, adjust the hips. Exhale, deep forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Lift that back foot, step back into high lunge, keep the toes curled. Inhale, hands to the thigh or up and over for Anjanae Asana. Exhale, hands to the inside of the left foot as we pivot around for Skandasana. Hands on the mat, keep the hips low, shift over to the other side, find that grounded connection. We're coming into high lunge, turn to the short end of the mat, keep the toes tucked, drop the knee down, hands to the thigh. Inhale, arms up and over the head if that's in your practice today. Exhale, hands to heart center, down to the earth, lift up through your high lunge, find pyramid. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, surrender. Right hand to the shin or the inside of that right foot. Adjust the back foot and lengthen up into your triangle. Inhale finds length. Exhale finds the twist. Plant both feet. Ground them into the earth. Inhale the hands up and over the head. Turn the toes to the long side of the mat. Exhale and surrender into goddess squat. Inhale, arms up and over as you find your way to the right end of the mat. Arms up, over to the right. Inhale. Exhale over to the left. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. And there we have a full round of Chandra Namaskar. Slightly longer than Surya Namaskar A and, well, it probably sits in between Surya Namaskar A and B. So if we're looking to add on, a really nice place to add on is as you come, before you enter into Skandasana. So you've just come triangle, you're in pyramid, and you're going to come forward, transfer the weight, drop back down. You find yourself in Anjanae Asana. So a really nice add-on here is to bring the hands to heart center and drop back into your half Hanumanasana or half splits. And from here, plant the hands and transfer into Skandasana. And as we work that on the other side, we move through our Skandasana and we drop straight back in to half Hanumanasana and then move forward into Anjanae Asana. Stretching back, coming into pyramid pose, finding that adjustment in the back leg and then moving back into triangle pose and lifting back up out that way. And then of course reversing that entire action in the other direction. So you can add in half Hanuman Asana there. As you're moving through Ardha Chandrasana, you might like to add an Utkatasana in there to drop into the thighs. All sorts of different things you can add in along the way, but that half Hanuman Asana is a really nice addition to this practice. So there you have it, my yogi friends. That is Ardha Chandrasana, or sorry, Chandra Namaskar, which starts out with Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. And it's just a really lovely way, grounded connection. Like, it's probably midday here in Bali, so you can see I've broken a little bit of a sweat moving through that particular sequence, but it is a really lovely soft sequence for you to open with. Again, if you're not really sure and you're not feeling like a super duper yang upward practice, starting out with Chandra Namaskar can be a really good way to go. And also, if you wanted to add in some of your coming out of, say, your high lunge and turning and adding in some lateral movements here through your warrior two, and perhaps like a deeper side lunge, and then moving into your Skandasana, really nice options there as well. So it just takes a little bit of creativity to weave those shapes in and out of your Chandra Namaskar. My yogi friends, I will see you on the next tutorial. If you have any questions or you want me to take a look at your Chandra Namaskar and offer any modifications, I'm more than happy to do so. Feel free to open up a thread or a question in the Facebook group, or indeed you can message me directly through a Facebook Messenger or email. My yogi friends, am off to have some lunch, and I will see you on our next tutorial. Namaste.